So, a couple content creators had some very bad takes about the Vandal Healing Garden, and I had some of my viewers ask me to address it, so here we go.
The thing what pissed me off initially is because this entire project was done under their name. The donations were brought in using these four victims as the guide and light for the money to.
Well, actually, no. This was one of the proposals that was under the fundraising page, and it said in honor of all vandals. And it also said, with a special memorial for the 4 young lives lost in the tragic events of November 13th. And here's another post that talks about how it is a meaningful and timeless space honoring the memory of students who have passed. And yet another post about how it wasn't just about the four. It says, although the four students who were killed at the King Roadhouse in Moscow in November 2022 may be the most recognized members of this group, the memorial will represent all former students who passed away while enrolled in school. So, no, they never presented it as only about the four in order to raise money. This was always presented as being a memorial for all University of Idaho students that had passed away from 1899 until the present.
Now, the donations are running somewhere between $800,000 and $1 million. And
no, I don't know where you're getting that number from, Harsh, but it was $285,000 in donations.
in fact, they are still donating to this. Now, I spoke to one of my mods. Hello, Dope. And look, this is obvious, or it seems to be an ongoing project. It seems to be an ongoing project.
Yes, you are correct about that. It is an ongoing project because there are spaces in there where students can leave letters to students who have died. And then the UI library will be collecting these letters and archiving them. That does cost money. Also, the upkeep also costs money. So you do need continuing donations to take care of a memorial like this. Here's another post about that same thing. It says multiple wooden structures have been built so a person can write a letter, place it in a tube, and set it on what looks like a candle holder. Architecture student Ashley Summers says these structures will be a place people can sit and take a moment for reflection. And here's what one of those votive holders with a note card in it looks like. And yes, that will cost money on an ongoing basis to keep cataloging these.
But what has always concerned me is the amount of money that the university seems to have been given with this initial $1 million sort of, this fund to help them get over what happened, even though this didn't happen on campus.
Harsh, I'm not sure why you're conflating this. That $1 million from the state legislature had nothing to do with the healing garden or anything other than what the money was specifically given to the school for, which was for security and counseling, etc. And here is actually the breakdown of the expenditures for that $1 million. Again, it had nothing to do with the healing garden. The healing garden didn't cost $1 million. Not sure why you want to conflate it.
Let's go back to the donation. So $800,000 plus took in to build this thing that was done in the name of Xana, Ethan, Kaylee, and Maddie. And you've got a situation where I think to myself, but now it's on a broader spectrum. So it's now not just about that tragedy, it's about anyone around this university who have lost their lives as a remembrance for the vandals to come in and think and contemplate life.
Again, it was never solely about the four. It says that they may have been the catalyst for the new memorial, but the space is meant for anyone looking to process grief or find a moment of peace. And it talks about how the architecture students and faculty built it. But this was always about encompassing all students that passed away, not just the four. And yes, beyond being a memorial, it's also supposed to be a place, as one student says, a place for safety. It's a place where people can go and get away from classes and from life for a little bit. and kind of think about things that they can't think about elsewhere or don't feel safe thinking about elsewhere. And just to reiterate again, this was not just about the 4. It says right here on the donor page, it will honor all Vandal students who passed away while they were enrolled at the University of Idaho. And since you keep incorrectly stating that it was $800,000 in donation, here's what they reached during the 2023 Day of Giving. They reached $54,274 for the Healing Garden. And during the 2024 Day of Giving, they raised $8,662 towards the Healing Garden. So I would love to see where you're getting that they took in over $800,000 up to $1 million for the garden, because that just is not the case.
But they have, what I have found out subsequently is they have memorialized the 4 victims who basically paid for it. You know, their story paid for it. So that was a nice touch. So there is something that is dedicated to them specifically, which is a good thing. Thumbs up.
Yes, the sculpture in the center is specifically dedicated to Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. And here are their plaques. So you can see what those look like.
But what I don't understand, like, this is on the university campus, so it's not like they had to buy land. You know, this is done within the grounds of the university, and the labour was done by people within the university. You know, the students from the College of Art and Architecture designed and built the garden as a place of healing and reflection. Now, like I say, I spoke to Dope, and Dope said this is an ongoing project, so there's going to be more added to it. I'm guessing that's flowers, perhaps?
Yes, actually. The garden will be filled with a variety of plants, including native plants that are in bloom at different times of the year. The students spoke to the parents of the murder victims to get their preferences.
I don't know. I don't know whether they're going to build something else over the top, a fucking flyover, so you can skateboard over the fucker. I don't know. But £800,000 plus and still taking in donations, that to me don't look like that money has been spent on that.
Again, it was $285,000, not $800,000. I would love for you to show where you're getting that $800,000 figure.
But free labor, materials, probably getting materials fairly cheap.
Actually, no, materials are not cheap. Due to inflation, everything construction-wise has been up since 2020 in costs.
On their own land, yeah, I struggle with that. And I've always said around this case, someone needs to be fucking auditing where all the money's going. Anyway, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think that looks like $800,000 plus?
Again, not $800,000 plus.
You know, maybe there is some, I don't know, special gold-plated fucking plants in it. I don't know. Or like Dope said, this is an ongoing project, and we're going to see the aforementioned flyover for skateboarders. Who knows? But that to me don't look like £1 million. So yet again, I'm going to say, where does all the money going?
Okay, that was really rude. About the skateboard flyover and the gold-plated nonsense. How would you feel if people from the United States were making fun of the July 7th memorial, that, by the way, did cost £1 million to build? But it was very thought-worthy, done with the victims in mind. The architects consulted with the victims' families, just like in this case at University of Idaho. These students of art and architecture spoke with the families of the people being honored. So, unlike you, I'm not going to go tear down a memorial and tear down how much it cost and act like this is some big conspiracy theory. So, do better, Harsh. And next we have Bubbly, who made this ludicrous statement.
Sorry, I want to pause it because, quite frankly, I don't see any of the Sigma Chi guys in there, or any of the sorority sisters that were, wandering around and pointing and laughing. That is crazy. Why wouldn't those guys give some of their time? If it was... that seems like it would be important to them, right? If that's what this is about. I'm a little miffed. Also, the faces on these people, just that one just as I just spanned past the crowd just now when they said that they gave their time and all that, the looks on their faces were almost not disgusted giving their time, but as in that they did, and that like just what I said. I just feel like the Greek row should have done this.
Are you really trying to turn this into something about Greek row? You can't for one day just stop with the conspiracies and recognize that these art and architecture students did something wonderful and selfless. And I imagine there are fraternity and sorority members that were in that group of art and architecture students. I just don't understand you. They made it clear from the start that this was being done by the art and architecture students and that it was a memorial for all University of Idaho students that had passed away, not just people on Greek row or the ones from November 13th, 2022. So with that said, I have put together a wall of shame, which were some of the comments that were left under both Harsha's video and Bubbly's video, because it seems like a lot of their viewers have no empathy. These comments were awful. They cut down the parents of the victims. They cut down the memorial, a beautiful memorial, by the way, put together by art and architecture students who did it out of the kindness of their own heart. So you can stop right here. You don't have to read the comments, but I just wanted these people to be put on blast because they are seriously lacking in humanity.